Greetings, Atlanta, America, worldwide internet. Thank you for tuning in to WWWE 1100 AM. You're in Shop Talking Randomish with King Insane. I am Will Sane.
And it's your boy Rick Kane is in the building, and we have the beautiful Miss Lovely Starlight in the house with us. What's good with you, baby?
Nothing much, nothing much. Hey, world, how are you?
Also, we're joined tonight by Todd, the attorney, our fellow in-house attorney, who we always appreciate stopping through the shop. To join us in the shop, dial 404-603-8770, or if you're in your mama's basement, dial 888-926-7562.
Hey, what's good with you, man? What's good with you, man? Hey, if you in your mama's basement, you gotta use that number. Tell your mama it's free. Don't want no problem. You know, it ain't no 99999 number. So you ain't gotta worry about getting in no kind of trouble and nothing like that. But
This ain't nothing but some good old healthy conversation.
and in this barbershop, no conversation is taboo. I'm gonna say that one more time. No conversation in this barbershop is taboo.
And we're going to get on a subject tonight that is not taboo. We want everybody, no matter your color, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your race.
Hold on, say that word again.
Ethnicity. I got to change it up. I missed it the first time.
I say it one more time.
Ethnicity. No matter what your mama them told you that you were, you know you ain't really Indian. But anyone, call in, listen, because we need to have a real, not black conversation, but American conversation tonight. All right? And once again, say what you mean what you say, just don't be mean when you say it.
Hey, fellas.
Let's go.
Lovely lady.
Yes, sir.
How y'all doing? How was your week?
Oh, good, man. I can't complain. I can complain.
You can always complain, but nobody care though.
I know. Let's get to it, man.
Miss Starlight, how was your week?
It was long in training, you know, back to the whole teacher life. So, yeah.
Back to the teacher life.
Yeah.
Get them books.
You know, the kids don't come back till next Thursday, but we've been in since last Thursday. So, yeah.
I'm trying to tell her how was your week.
My week was long. Went down to New Orleans.
Yeah, I seen y'all getting your atomic dog on.
Yeah, too much atomic dog for me though. I'm getting too old for that.
Get too old that atomic dog.
You still stepping?
I'm just an observer.
You just observing up. Knees bad.
I almost tore my Achilles and stuff just walking down Bourbon Street, let alone trying to step. So, I leave that to the young bros these days.
Hey man, I gotta tell y'all something real quick.
Talk to us.
What's that?
I just today, probably about an hour ago, realized that I live with a double standard.
What's that?
And I have always prided myself in not being a double standard kind of guy.
What's that?
I was on Facebook, and I'm in one of these Facebook groups, right? And the question was asked, how would you feel if your 19-year-old dated someone 20 years older than them?
And what did you say?
My son, I think all young men should have an older woman.
Yeah.
To teach them.
No, hold on. I'm saying yeah. Back up on that.
I think all young men should have an older woman.
Mm-hmm.
I want my daughter to be a virgin, have a virgin. They be virgins together. They learn everything together. They do it all together.
She can be the 39-year-old virgin.
I want my daughter to just not to be.
She can be the 39-year-old virgin.
I know that's not gonna happen.
I want her to marry God.
He's busy.
He's busy. So got enough wives.
He's busy.
And it hurt me that I realized that I have a double standard.
Dude, we all
just now realizing it.
We all.
Yes, but I only have a double when it comes to my kids. The rest of this mess.
That's where most of y'all have your double standard.
Yeah,
when it comes to either your kids or your sisters.
Okay, so I'm okay. So that's cool.
In your life.
So that's good. That's good. I'm good with that. That's a good double standard.
That time.
It is what it is. Hey, I want my daughter to be a nun. So
Exactly. I'm with you
in a convent.
Okay, so I was just wondering why I was feeling bad. I was feeling bad. That was weighing heavy on my heart.
Is it?
Are you
You're not alone,
serious?
brother.
That was weighing heavy on my
That's
heart.
Michael
Well,
Jackson.
at least you're not a hypocrite about it. You can admit,
You know.
hey, you got a double standard.
Yeah.
I mean,
You own your issue.
As Michael Jackson said, you are not alone. I am here with you.
Okay, but that's all right. I was just wanted to make sure because, like I say, I pride myself on not having these double standards between man and woman.
You're gonna find out you have a lot more. I promise you, you have a lot more than that. And you know what? We need to have a show on that. We need to have a show on what's your double standards. And we come in with a list.
I think that's gonna be our biggest fight.
Truly sit down with yourself in the dark.
I think that's gonna be our biggest fight, though, Will.
What, the double
Me
standards?
and you and double standards.
I got a lot of them.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that's gonna be our biggest fight.
I mean,
Yes, you do.
but you know what? I'm comfortable in my
And I guess that's all that count. That's all that count. Hey man, we're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna get this mess out of the way.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk about this quick mess, and then we're gonna get into what we're here for.
Yeah.
So the quick mess we finna get out of the way is this sports.
Let's go.
Julio reported to camp yesterday. How you feel about that?
Quinteris is here. Good job. Now
Love
let's
it.
get to work.
I think it's a win-win for both. Julio is a win for the Falcons. Now let's go ahead and go to the Super Bowl. Let's focus on Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl of us.
How you feel about it?
oh, my position is you better go to the Super Bowl and win it at home.
Yes.
I don't hear no excuses unless it's an injury. I want to see numbers from 2 years ago.
That's what I'm
The
talking about.
offense that was put up, the numbers that were put up, the pass completions, the rack, all that stuff. I want to see all numbers from 2016 or whatever. So, hey, I don't want to hear no excuses.
No.
You
I
got
don't
your
even want an
money.
injury this year.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
hold
but-
on. I mean, come on. You gotta be. Then you gonna see that as my boy Brandon McMichael called you sound like one of them butt hurt fan boys.
No, I'm tired of him getting injured. I want
He is
him
not
to
as
get
injured
another
as people
year.
think. He's not that injured as people think.
No, the recurring issue is that I know it's a thing that it's one of those things that once you start getting injuries in your feet, they continue to happen. I get that. I want to see if he can make it through another year, be as good, put up those numbers without the injury. Now I understand, yes, you might get injured, but I want to see if he can make it through and not get injured.
He has only missed 3 games in the last 4 years from injury. He's only missed 3. So that's why I say it's a misnomer when everyone talks about his injury.
But the problem is he was not on the field last year in a lot of crucial moments. He can only play 2 downs, and then he couldn't practice. So this is so whereas no,
How many yards he had?
Huh?
How many yards he had?
How many touchdowns he had?
Okay, if he's not targeted,
that's no wrong.
if you're not targeted in the red
He
zone,
was
how can you
targeted.
score?
Look here, dog.
Dropped
If
him.
you had, I don't give a
Alright,
damn. If you had 1,800 yards, you ain't got no
I
touchdown.
was
And
serious.
then you had the second most drops in the league. Come on now, let's do it.
That's
Let's go.
not good. That's not good.
You're running.
Huh? And you dropped a touchdown.
Yeah, you dropped out.
Huh?
He did drop.
Okay, now on to the next one. The Hawks got Vince Sanity. Man, go ahead the hell on. If you had said Vince was
Thank
coming
you.
here 6 years ago,
Thank you.
I don't care.
if Half Man
I
Half
have-
Amazing was
I
coming,
have other reasons for being happy.
if Half
Let me have my moment.
if Half Man Half Amazing was coming,
Give me my moment.
I'd be like, yes. Now we got Half Man Half Amazing.
Give me my moment.
I would say this: the Hawks officially have had the most people play in their uniforms that have ever won the slam dunk contest.
Hey.
How many people now have won a Hawks uniform that has won a slam dunk? Dwight Howard, Vince Carter, we got Spud Wade, Dominique Willis. If you win, Isaiah Ryder. Somebody.
Hey, but check this out. Just think, if 6 years ago we had had Vince Carter, Carmelo Anthony,
Oh, God.
and Lynn Sanity all on this squad. Just think about that. When Lynn Sanity was Lynn Sanity, because you know Carmelo he ain't gonna need to come through here. But he's technically on the team.
You know what we would have had?
He
We
might
would've had-
practice a couple of weeks.
We would have had a
No, I
dysfunctional
know.
team, but we would have had more seats and more fans in the seats.
Oh yeah.
More
I
us
think
fans,
we would have
not
more,
other team
I think,
fans.
I think we had more. You're right. I think we had more Hawks fans.
Because I do have to say, the Lynn Sanity fan club, they travel. They are amazing.
Asian Americans.
Asians
Oh my
really-
God.
Asian Americans.
When
Yeah.
Yao Ming played, I remember coming
Yes.
to the Hawks, to the Hawks game when Yao Ming played, and the Hawks made it Asian American night.
Yes.
For Yao Ming
Oh, yeah.
coming to Atlanta, and the amount of Asians and Asian Americans, if y'all hyphenate yourselves as well, the Asian American population that came out,
They
it was
traveled well.
enormous.
I
So
love
shout out to my Asian Americans up in Gwinnett area. A lot of them up that way.
Hey boy, they got a whole All that.
You got a little career.
I mean, all that. Little career, hey, but I seen one so sexy today. Oh, that might be on.
Todd, how you feel about Vince?
Oh,
Yeah, how do you feel about
Pineapples.
Vince and Jerry?
Lynn Sanity. I don't even know his name.
It's Jeremy Lin.
Jeremy
Jeremy
Lin.
Lin.
How you
Yeah.
feel about Lynn Sanity and Vince Sanity?
It's so insane. It's
If
so
people
insane.
see me yawning,
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
But it's
not
coming up.
nice.
It's coming up. I want it, and I want the Hawks to trade Vince to Golden State
No.
for a
Wait,
Chick-fil-A
hold on,
family pack.
hold on.
Trade him for a
Wait.
Chick-fil-A family pack. Trade him to Golden State. I want
Right.
Vince to go out on top.
Well,
I want him to go out on top.
what they say the good thing
So,
about Vince coming in here is the
Vince
veteran
and-
leadership. So he can go
that's
in
what
here and
coaches are for. I mean,
Exactly.
really, I'm
They're not in the
sorry.
locker room.
Do you remember
They're
Trey
not in the
Lance?
locker room. It's gonna be the whole
It's a
locker room
difference.
thing.
What are you gonna say?
It's a
Like,
difference.
boy, you know, 20 years ago. No.
Do you remember?
That's not
Do you
like
remember
that.
when Tracy McGrady was a Hawk?
Oh,
Do you remember
Tracy
when?
came through here too?
Yes,
See,
it
you
was
don't remember.
beautiful.
Do you remember when Jerry Stackhouse was a
I
Hawk?
remember when Jerry came through here.
yeah.
Funny story about Jerry
That was
Stackhouse.
good, but Jerry still played 10 more years after that. He was like 50 when he
No,
retired.
no, he's
Jerry was like 50 when he retired.
Funny thing about Jerry Stackhouse coming to the Hawks, I remember an interview when they asked Jerry Stackhouse about him trying to talk to Josh Smith. And he
But
asked Josh
said it
Smith.
he said it was a different.
No, we gonna
that's a
get right
different
here.
breed.
Yeah,
Like, I
he
think
said-
Trey will listen.
He said
I
he
think
talked to
the
Josh
ones we
Smith.
just got now might listen.
He said he talked to Josh Smith, and he asked Josh Smith, "Why do you always shoot threes?" Josh Smith said, "Because they always leave me open."
It's like, but you
Josh
don't
Smith
make them.
did not understand that they left him open because he couldn't shoot him.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
He thought he could shoot.
He thought he could shoot.
He thought he could shoot. He thought he
He
was
could
a three-point
shoot. He
shooter.
couldn't make it.
His
I
dad.
can shoot a three, but
Exactly. It
He
ain't going
need to
in.
go in.
don't throw it
It's
out.
not going in.
Josh Smith wanted to come down. He wanted to handle the ball coming down the court. He wanted to take the ball from T and handle the ball coming
Yes.
down the court.
Yeah.
That's why we let him go.
I like Josh. I think Josh could have been.
Josh could have been one of the.
We
He could have
picked the
been one of the
wrong Josh.
best players ever.
Because
Could
his
have.
skill set. His skill set.
His skill set was
Shoulda,
there.
coulda,
If he
woulda.
would have learned to jump, if he would have learned to jumper and had his
If
mental,
he would have got out
mentals
his
right,
own way.
No. He had a jump, but he needed to bring it in
it was
about
broke.
15 feet.
Yeah, he need to be 2
Yeah,
points.
Had he brought it into a mid range, his skill level. I mean, because his skill, he had the skill set. He
Down
just didn't have
low,
the mental.
he couldn't be stopped
He
down
couldn't
low.
be stopped
Nope.
because
He was
how,
quick.
you gonna if you put a big man on him, he can go by.
Yep.
If you put a little man on him, he can power him down. But he got so in love. He fell in love with his
With the three.
ability to shoot the three at home that he thought he could do that.
Yeah.
Hey man, hey, we finna give it a take this quick little break. Y'all keep talking. I'm finna run. Yeah, I'm running back and forth. I got double duty. That's what your boy do. Cause that's what I do when I'm making donuts. I can do that. So I'm finna run in here and take us to commercial. Y'all keep talking till I tell y'all to take us to commercial. And we gonna come back and we finna hit them. Hey people, please. What we finna talk about and the reason why I'm glad Attorney Todd is here with us tonight. And he came in on a short notice. Hey Todd, I need you. Hey, I can do it. So he here. We finna talk about some good stuff, man. So please tune in.
Call your folks.
Call your folk. Tell your friend.
Tell
Tell a
folks.
friend. To tell your friend. Tell a friend. Tell your boyfriend. To tell a boyfriend. To tell his boyfriend. To tell his boyfriend.
You're gonna need not
We like them
too
too.
many
Hey,
A lot of boyfriends in there.
Way too many boyfriends.
Been
hey,
down there to swing Richards, boy.
hey,
Just saying, boy.
hey! I like all. Hey, I need the numbers to go up. I need the numbers to go up. So hey,
I know that's usually your.
I need the numbers to
that
go
you
up.
addressing.
so hey, y'all keep talking.
Y'all just switched up on me.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
I like the folks and everything.
Hey.
But yeah, so please, people, if you want, once we get back from break, we're gonna go into the subject, a subject that we should have touched on last week. We didn't, we weren't able to get to it, but we got to talk about this stand your ground law in Florida, and we got to talk about the murder of Michael McGloston. So please come back in. The number to call into the show is 404-603-8770 or 888-926-7562. You're on Shop Talking Randomish with King Hussein and the lovely Starlight and Attorney Todd. Do I pull the plug?
No, cause she put the thing in.
I just gotta watch what I say now then.
But when we come back, I'm gonna say, hold up. We're gonna jump on that Athens thing real quick.
That apple?
Yeah. Hit that Athens thing there real quick.
Okay.
Oh, can you show Todd the video right quick?
You saw the one?
Can somebody show the video right
I
quick?
ain't seen it yet.
Sister-in-law, ask Becky. How you doing, Becky? When you coming back to holler at me, I got some questions for Becky. Love you. Y'all don't know that about that, right? Yeah. And you know, and I know, I done bumped every hole in the wall, y'all.
Thought it was tall.
Aight.
Oh, it's the little boy. Yeah.
Now he's getting arrested for aggravated assault. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because you see what the whole question. What's in question? That's what's in question. You saw the little boy jump? Mm-hmm. So you can see. So you can see. Is that room 20?
About a minute.
A minute? Do you know the people names at all?
I don't know.
See, I want to be able to say the guy's name who was arrested.
Hey, 24 seconds.
You bringing it back?
Huh?
You bringing it back?
You go ahead, and then I'm gonna run over there. I just want to get us in.
All right. Welcome back to Shop Talking Randomish with King and Sane and the lovely Starlight. Once again, we have Attorney Todd in the house tonight. And yo, we're here to talk about some troubling things and some troubling times in our country, man. Rick sent me a video today of an incident that happened last week. I think it was last Friday in Athens, Georgia.
Before we talk about this stand your ground law, some things happened in the classic city of Athens, Georgia. And it had nothing to do with Jake Fromm and Justin Fields.
All right.
So you know everything they talk about right now in Georgia and Athens is coming out of Georgia, UGA. But I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It was actually on news. A man was getting arrested in Athens, and his son, I want to say he's 9 years old, ended up getting put to the ground by police. Now, if you just heard that, you're outraged. But I watched the video. The arresting officers, to me, the arresting officers was arresting this man, and there was nothing going. I mean, they wasn't harassing. They wasn't doing anything wrong. The man was being calm, but this 9-year-old, his 9-year-old son, from the time the video started to the end of the video, I could tell he was going to be a problem. From the time I saw the video, I could tell, even if I didn't know what was going to happen, I could tell this 9-year-old kid was going to be a problem. And from what I saw in the video, he ran up on the police. Not once, but twice. And after the second time, the police put him down.
Yep.
Knee in the back, everything. There's a lot of outrage going on about that. Folks was mad. But to me, it was justified. Because and this is my thing about this whole thing. Black folk, and I'm talking to black folk right now. We have enough problems in this country with the police. Mm-hmm. We can't give them a reason to do anything to us. And my problem in this video is not only with this 9-year-old little boy, it's with the grown folks that was standing out there watching this going on. Yeah. Because this could have been prevented had all one of them had to do was grab this little boy and take him into the house.
Exactly.
Well, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead. No.
I'm sorry. I just saw the video today. I've been out of town or whatever, so I haven't necessarily kept up with the local news. I think this probably happened last Friday on the 20th, today being the 27th. What I'm going to say about it is this, and here's the unfortunate thing that everyone needs to understand, that I don't fault the police for doing what they did. One, let me give you my general perspective on the criminal justice system, whatever. The criminal justice system is no place for kids, period. Yeah. Okay, now that's, I'm not saying that you don't have juvenile delinquents in that sense, but I see a lot of people that come to court or whatever, and maybe they don't have a babysitter. Why do you bring your kids to court to see some of the most negative things that could be going on? To see a family member getting locked up? I don't necessarily approve it. I do understand it happens, that, if somebody is in prison or something like that, that you take your small child to sort of, that this is the norm. It should not be the norm. Now, with respect to this incident right here, here's what I'm going to say, and I'll leave it at this. I agree that the grown-ups, to a certain extent, I'll put it to you this way. Never seen my dad arrested, not saying he has or hasn't been or whatever, but it is not the proper place for you to have your kids out there even witnessing this.
See, and that's my second problem with this whole video. As a father of a 10-year-old little boy, if I knew that this situation was going on, my first thing was get them in the house.
Hey, hold on real quick. Starlight's gonna post a link to the video so that everyone can actually look at this video and make your own interpretation of the video, because I think everyone needs to look at this video. We all, from seeing the video, and not just to cut you off because I'm going to let you go back, Rick. We all, after seeing the video, and Rick and I hardly ever agree on many things, but I think we all agree about who's at fault in this. But it is a disturbing video to watch, because when you see this child being handled the way he's handled, that's what's so disturbing about it.
And let me tell you what hurt me about this video. Being a father. Mm-hmm. First of all, my son watching me go to jail is a problem. Yes. I don't want my son to watch me go to jail. And the job of a father is to protect and provide. There's no way in hell this man was, you couldn't have told me this man was at ease with watching his son
being thrown to the ground. Because I would have felt like less than a man. Yes. But there's nothing he could do.
Well, and even with him being handcuffed, you know that he's going to be outraged about the fact that he sees his son being manhandled by an adult. The other thing I was going to say is this. Okay, so that if anybody's seen The Color Purple, you remember the scene where Oprah's getting arrested? It's like, get my kids out of here. Get my kids out of here. Yeah. That's what needed to have been done. Get my kids out of here. Take them in the house.
Good.
Take them in the house.
Some grown persons need to have snatched this kid up and taken him into the house.
And this would have all been avoided. The cops, trust me, and I'm not trying to deter anyone's opinion after you see this video, but the cops did everything they could to not do anything to that kid.
Yes. Because he ran up on them
They
twice.
restrained themselves to the point where it was no more that they could do. And if you watch the end of that video, the cops did a phenomenal thing to me. The cops allowed that kid to go over there, say goodbye to his daddy, and reach in there, touch his daddy, tell daddy you love him, tell his daddy he love him, and get his dad's cell phone so he can make some phone calls or whatever the kid. It was just nice for the cops to make that gesture because they know how much that kid loved his dad and how much they didn't do that to try to say, oh, we're gonna look bad for what we do. They did it because they saw the hurt in that kid. Yeah. They weren't trying to do that to make we gotta change this up right now for public opinion because we're gonna look bad. No. That was a spur of the moment to me from watching it. It was a spur of the moment. Hey, look at this kid. This kid did this out of emotion. He was wrong as hell, but he did it out of emotion. And so let this kid have this little bit of closure so that his daddy can tell him, hey, son, it's going to be all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that calmed the kid down.
And just the overall conversation he was having with the child. Like, yes, he's restraining the child, but he made sure he let the little boy know, you're not going to jail. I just need you to calm down.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You do not run up on officers. That is not something you do. So at least the next time, if ever he has to be in a situation again, he should remember, okay, wait, I'm not going to do that, but now I can handle the situation another way.
And you know what's the terrible part about that? What's the most terrible part about this? Not besides the parents just standing there, or I'm going to say an upsetting part to me, is that the kid when that happened, that's when that kid became respectable.
Yeah.
Other than that, that kid was acting a fool. You gotta say
damn fool.
He was acting
a damn fool.
He was. I don't want. For some reason, I just can't say it about a kid.
A damn fool.
But he was. And then you had to put this kid in handcuffs, and then all of a sudden he snapped to.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes, sir.
But that's
yes, sir.
But that's what they say though.
Parents should
never
automatically.
Have, but I've heard plenty of officers say, handle your child before we have to handle it. Because they don't want to be in that business.
No.
But they will if it comes to it.
Yes.
And most of them will react the way the cops in this video did. However, there's ones that will not.
Well, and I will say that, at least I'm going to thank God that it didn't become more tragic than it was.
Exactly.
They could have tased the kid.
Yes.
Possibly shot the kid.
Exactly.
They could have incited adults to get excited. Somebody gets shot out there or whatever. So, thank God that it did not.
Yes. It didn't escalate.
Escalate beyond what it was.
It's amazing how the adults restrained themselves from acting a fool, but they weren't restraining the kid.
9-year-old kid.
They thought it was just okay for him to act that way. And now I don't want it. And this is what I hate. That's probably about to happen. I'm not gonna say it's going to happen, but this makes me think. Somebody's gonna call Todd, the attorney, and say, "Hey, we need a lawyer because we about to sue Athens Clark PD for the way they treated this child." And that's what I hate. Sometimes I agree with lawyering up. This, to me, is not one of those cases. You're at fault. If anything, take the child from you parent who sat there and let the boy act, as Rick said, act a fool. Take the child. Take the parent from the child.
And not even, and again, what I'll say about it is this. It's not just the parents, it's every adult out there.
Everyone that was there. Anyone could agree.
It was like, look, you got to calm down. It's going to be okay. Yeah. Just send them inside or something like that. Now, unfortunately, like I said, it is a hard video to watch because, again, you're looking at an adult officer and a small child from that perspective, whatever. But, the unfortunate thing is, like I said, that child's actions, and I can't blame the child because, again, he's just a child.
Yeah, he's
emotional about seeing his father going to jail or whatever. But at the end of the day, that thing could have escalated and gotten very ugly out there.
Yeah, it could have.
Glad it didn't.
Now, hey, we don't beat that one now. Beat that one pretty good. Hate to see my city in that light at that time.
I tried to fool out in Athens and start
marching
the streets and blocking the streets.
So, stand your ground law. We're just going to get to it.
So let's back it up. Last Thursday, down in Clearwater, Florida, which is a place I love. I love Clearwater, Florida. I even thought about moving down to Clearwater, Florida. It's the place of Hooters, the birthplace of Hooters.
Hold on, the best Hooters ever. Best Hooters ever. Underground and level. If you didn't get a chance to go by underground and level, who's Lord? Jeez.
But back
Woo!
to the
Oh, I'm
story.
sorry.
So down in Clearwater, Florida, there was a incident where a young black man, 28-year-old black man by the name of Michael McLaughlin. If I'm mispronouncing the name, I apologize. Him, his girlfriend, and 3 kids, they go to a convenience store to get snacks. She parks the car. He and his 5-year-old son walk inside the store. While he's inside the store, a citizen arrest person or a whatever you want to call it. All right, parking lot. I want to be the parking lot guard. All right, just random civilian comes up and starts confronting the female, which is Mr. McLaughlin's girlfriend, starts confronting her about why she's parked in a good God, I can't. I'm so emotional still about the thing. A handicapped parking spot. Okay, they get into you can't see from this video, but I imagine they get into a shouting match because the next thing I see is Mr. McLaughlin coming out of the store. When he comes out of the store, he immediately looks at Mr. Dreka. I think that's the guy's name, Dreka, Drejka. I may be spelling that wrong. Anyway, he sees this guy, and the guy starts to make a hand gesture towards the female that's in the car. So Mr. McLaughlin comes up, shoves very hard, very violently, shoves Mr. Dreka to the ground. Mr. Dreka then pulls out his pistol and shoots Mr. McLaughlin. Now, the sheriff down in this county has stated that his hands is tied and that he will not arrest, and he cannot arrest Mr. Dreka because of the stand your ground law. I asked Rick to watch the video. I asked Starlight to watch the video. I asked everybody to watch this video. And you form your own opinion on it.
Now, with all that being said, we did not come into this whole stand your ground law. First I became aware of it when the Trayvon Martin and Zimmerman incident. Shouts out to Jay-Z. If anybody, y'all know why I say this if you heard the Jay-Z new thing. But that's when stand your ground law actually became prevalent in my life. Now, I pulled up, I got Attorney Todd here to school us. I pulled up on Wikipedia, the stand your ground as it is called. It says a stand your ground law, sometimes called in the line of sand, or the no duty to retreat law. That is very important, and I'm gonna tell you why in a moment. It's a justification in a criminal case whereby defendants can stand their ground or use force without retreating in order to protect or defend themselves or against threats or perceived threats.
Now, there's a little bit more to that than the Wikipedia because
that's why I brought
I would say the law also states that the person is supposed to feel that their life is endangered or that they will probably sustain severe bodily harm. Now, if you look at this video, and from the way I perceive it, there's a point in this video that in which when the pistol is drawn, you can see that Mr. McLaughlin backs up and turns as in a fleeing motion. Once he sees that pistol, at that point to me, there is no doubt about if you felt that your body, you would receive bodily harm or injury. Because at that point, the threat was neutralized once he saw that weapon and he turned away from him. Okay. Or attempted to turn away.
Now, Attorney Todd, you heard my WikiLink definition of this. Please explain to us, as if we were a 5-year-old, what the stand your ground law means. Because it's also a law in Georgia. The stand your ground law is also enforced in Georgia. So can you kind of tell us what it means.
Okay, what I'm going to say is I'm going to give just a brief history of what stand your ground means. Stand your ground is nothing more than a modified version of self-defense.
Hold. I'm glad you said self-defense, because according to WikiLeaks, the difference between the self-defense claim is, according to WikiLeaks, it says, in order to say self-defense, you have to be able to not be able to retreat. Because in self-defense, if you can retreat,
now,
it's not self-defense.
Now that's what, and that's where, and I'm gonna let Ty go back and finish his thing. But real quick, that's why there's and we'll get. I have to ask you this question. George Zimmerman, from what I understand, didn't get off on stand your ground. It was self-defense because he couldn't retreat because Trayvon was on top
Whooping
of
his ass.
Yeah,
Correct.
Go ahead.
Now, again, that's why I said it's a modified version of self-defense. Okay, it's not self-defense per se, because otherwise you just say it's self-defense. There's no need for stand your ground if you just have complete self-defense. It is a modification of that. Now, just to go back with all self-defense, just briefly, whatever, from the history perspective. All this comes from what is universally, let's say, the root of all this is what they call the castle law. And if anybody's ever heard the reference to the fact that, man's home is his castle, whatever, that basically means that you have the right to defend your home from invaders and this, that, and the other. So what it grew from is the defense of your home and all the people in your home, and it's been expanded to outside of your home, your car, your vehicle, or just in a public place. So that's why it's a modified version of that. Now, what I will say about that, even with the castle law or whatever, what was prohibited from the castle law is this. Let's say you live in a neighborhood where basically there's a lot of break-ins, whatever, said and the other. What the castle law did not allow you to do is to present or create what they call man traps. So you say, okay, look, they're breaking into my house, whatever, they're breaking into my neighbor's house, whatever, said and so I'm going to put a big bear trap up under my window.
Oh, yeah.
And so when they step in here, it's going to break their leg or it's going to kill them. I'm going to put a trigger on a shotgun and it's going to kill them. Because that's an indiscriminate killing. Yeah. It could be your son or somebody coming in there, they lost their key or whatever. That is not allowed. So just moving on beyond the history behind it. So, again, here's what stand your ground basically means. And there are exceptions to this, whatever. Now, what I will say about the situation in Florida is this. One, I don't think that a sheriff or law enforcement should be able to make that call.
I agree.
That is a situation where it at least needs to go to the grand jury. What normally is going to happen is this, even in the state of Georgia, is this. If I've got a stand your ground or a self-defense, what we normally do is this. We will file what we call a motion that's a pretrial motion. We want a hearing on this to let the judge make a determination, present the evidence, whatever, say, okay, is my client, do you find self-defense? Because self-defense is a complete defense.
So what you're saying is that regardless of what the sheriff thinks, he should arrest the guy.
He should arrest the guy and let the criminal justice system sort it out.
I agree.
I don't think that a prosecutor or law enforcement should make that decision by just looking at a video and saying, okay, well, look, because as you said in the video, if this guy's backing up once he sees the pistol and he turns to run, it's just sort of like in the Old West, that the situation was, it's not self-defense if you shot him in the back. Yeah. If I'm running away, whether I had a pistol on you or not, but I'm running away once I see a pistol, you can't just shoot me in the back and say it was self-defense.
Well, the cops are doing that now.
Well, of course.
The cops are doing that now.
Hey y'all, somebody just walked in the barbershop. Hey y'all, somebody just walked in the barbershop. What you need, what you want?
What's going on, man?
What's up?
I'm a little bit blurry on this, but it wasn't clear to me that she was in the driver's seat.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the story, if you read like he pulled up and he got out of the driver's seat, went to the store. See, if you look at the video, you can't tell whether she was in the driver's seat or not.
You can't. I have to Google it again, man. I've been so upset about it, man. And, not to cut you off, Eric, but that's one of my questions also, because isn't that standing your ground by defending your girlfriend or your girlfriend and your children in that car by walking up and seeing this argument going on, and you not understanding what's going on. And I might say he overreacted. I can say he overreacted by shoving this guy out the way. But when does that come a part of, hey, I'm protecting my family and my loved ones?
Well, see,
And that's a good question for Todd.
and I was going to say, in that situation, that's the dynamic that you really got going on here, and that's why the sheriff should not make that decision and say, okay, look, I see that this guy was standing his ground, because at one point, the victim comes out in defense of someone, and he has every right to defend his family and himself or his kids if he feels like they're being threatened, and then all of a sudden, this man turns around like, oh, I'm defending myself. So you got a defense of others, whatever, that's coming into play with the victim. Then all of a sudden, he shoves the guy. And here's my position on it at the end of the day anyway. And again, you know, they don't call me and ask me for my advice, unfortunately. But standing your ground to a certain extent of whatever it is, you should use an equal amount of force, whatever, against force. As the law says, you are supposed to only use that deadly force if you feel like you're going to receive a serious, grievous bodily injury, or it's imminent that is coming.
Yes.
Shoving somebody, whatever, is not, you know, that type of situation. If he came at him with, you know, a bat or something like that, yeah, maybe, but he's got open hands, whatever. He's done nothing but shove you. He is not punching you on you. He's not wailing on you, whatever. He doesn't have you pinned against the ground or whatever. Yeah. You know, and as you said, once he sees the pistol and he's backing away, then he's retreating. You don't have to retreat, but you can't go and chase somebody if you got into a fight. You can't sit there and say, okay, I lost this fight or whatever, but I'm going to chase this person down the street and gun them down because I'm standing my ground. At some point, that line disappears.
Yeah. Todd, do you have a quick question?
Well, Eric, and his also, I apologize, his name is his name is Marquise McLaughlin. Michael McLaughlin is his father.
Do you have a quick question? Eric, Todd, Cleveland Brown supporter, whatever your name is. Oh my God! Oh my God! You and Jarvis Land.
All right, what's up, man?
Go ahead.
Why not just make them undefeated? I mean, if you want to go big, go big. Super Bowl champs.
Go ahead. Go with the question.
Yo, to the point to where, did you watch the point to where he ran back in the store after being shot? Did you see? Okay. No. So did you watch? So you did watch the video until the point where he ran back into the store. Okay, I'm gonna have to slow motion it because I will look at it again. But to me, and maybe I'm just like caught up in this, but to me, it appeared that he backed up and made a slight turn toward the right, and he was shot then at that time.
Now he's the number one in our book.
Well, and again, that's what I'm sitting there saying, that the sheriff himself has already prejudged this case and made the determination that he is not going to swear out a warrant for him. Yeah. And my position is that you have to let it run its course.
No, I mean, once you get past what the sheriff...
No, because no one's... But who's going to arrest him? But the sheriff saw the video. The sheriff saw the same video that everyone saw, and the sheriff says, "I'm not going to arrest, and I can't arrest because the killing is within the grounds of stand your ground."
Her testimony is going to go to the prosecutor. The prosecutor will have to make a decision. Does her testimony carry any strong weight?
Well,
She said he backed up.
Well, and I think that the deal is going to be this. Everybody who gave us...
Hey, thank you, Todd. I need you out my barber shop. Stop by my cashier, and we're going to holler at you, all right?
No. We don't need anything to burn. It's hot outside already.
Appreciate it, man. So like you were saying, so it's now in the hands of the prosecutor. See, the prosecutor, wants to, I guess, indict
Even pursue.
or arrest.
Well,
What's the next stage?
Here's the deal. Okay, and the way it's a normal arrest situation, whatever. If the police officer or law enforcement believes that a crime has been committed, they have every right to go out and swear out an arrest. Based upon what the sheriff is saying, he's like, I'm not going to swear out an arrest. Yeah. So this is going to put the ball over into the prosecutor's hands. The prosecutor is probably going to look at it and say, make a determination. Now again, the prosecutor may simply say, okay, we've reviewed the evidence, whatever, we looked at the video, we've listened to the statements, we've interviewed everybody, whatever, and we still believe that stand your ground, and we're not going to indict this case, whatever, and that's the end of it. Normally, what should happen, in my opinion, again, is let it run its course. You indict the guy, you charge him, whatever, and then let him do, as I said before, you file your motion. I believe stand your ground, you take that in front of a judge and let that judge make that decision, whatever. You just don't unilaterally do it. Now, like I said, the sheriff has his prerogative to sit there and say, I believe stand your ground, and his opinion may have some sway on the prosecutor themselves, but at the end of the day, the personal opinion is they should all go through the justice system one way or the other. Now, at the end of the day, again, they may simply say, we're not going to prosecute it because we believe it's stand your ground. But normally, like I said, I just had a case recently, not necessarily stand your ground, but it was a self-defense. And all these are the same things. There was a case that came up, actually, I think it finally got resolved this year. But it was a situation down in Henry County or something like that. And it made the news because they said, and the headline was, Black man gets denied the ability to use stand your ground in Georgia. Now, that was a misleading type headline. That did happen. But the problem was that the judge denied his request to do the stand your ground because he didn't file the motion in time enough.
Oh, okay.
So, again, the attorney, that's their job. It's not necessarily the defendant's job, but we have to go in there and say, okay, look, I want a pretrial determination. I don't want to get to a trial. I want this to be determined on legal grounds or whatever, because that's all it is. The legal question is not a factual question. It's legal, and let me, that seems a little confusing or whatever, but here's what it basically means.
I'm 5 years old.
Okay. A legal question is based upon facts, just like anything else.
Okay.
However, that question can be dispositive of the case. So that basically means that the judge is going to take into consideration what the witnesses said, look at any videos, any other evidence that's available, whatever, and say, okay, look, based upon my looking at the video and listening to the witnesses and listening to the interpretation of law enforcement or whatever, then I've determined this looks like it's stand your ground. Case dismissed. They can assert the privilege, and basically they'll dismiss the case. Because again, that is a complete bar to prosecution to a certain extent. Now, even if the judge denies that motion, then if you're the attorney, whatever, when you file that motion, you say, okay, look, even if you deny it, I don't want you to preclude me from presenting this to a jury. So you really get two shots at it.
So right now we're at a point to where a few senators, and I'm going to give the names, Bill Nelson of Florida. We have, who is it? Good gosh, Charlie Crist, also of Florida, Alcee Hastings, Kamala Harris of California, and Cory Booker of New Jersey. They have filed a motion, or better yet, they have signed a letter, sent a letter to Attorney General Jeff Sessions to have them look at this case. Now, the problem that I have with this is that, once again, it's just Democrats. Why is it not? This should not be something that's politically based. And I'm about tired of our country being so divided that everything comes down to politics. Why is it not that the Democrats and the Republicans can't come together and make a senseless proclamation to where we can get something or some type of justice? Now, I know one thing isn't going to happen, because he's gotten the attorney, I can't think of his name, the Crump. He's gotten Ben Crump, I think his name is. He's gotten him to be his attorney, the same one who represented Trayvon Martin. I'm sorry, y'all, to tell you the truth, but if you ever get that guy, you're not going to win a damn thing. I'm going to just be honest with you. I haven't seen him win in any of these big cases. I don't know why people keep hiring him.
He got a national commercial.
He goes and finds them.
I say all that to say this though. The thing is that he feels that there needs to be a change to the stand your ground law in honor of Mr. McLaughlin. And I will tell you that there is a better chance of a snowball causing an ice storm in hell than it is for Mr. McLaughlin to have something to do with the change of stand your ground. And I hate to bring race into it, but I don't recall the last time a law was either created or a law was changed because of a black male being the victim. If this was, and if people know I don't like to do the race thing, and I hate to do the race thing because I have friends of all nationalities, all ethnicities, but if this was white women who were being affected by this law, just as Governor Deal in Georgia signed off on a bill down at Georgia Southern University changing the text and drive with your cell phone law and he did it at Georgia Southern because a bunch of females were killed in an accident, a vehicle accident, due to distracted driving. So now we have this big change in Georgia. I'm telling you, this is not going to change. And that's what upsets me so much about this. We see the wrong, but they're not going to right the wrong. That's the way I feel. Do you think it's going to be a change?
No. And I don't think it's going to be a change because I don't think we as a people are going to follow the correct steps to get it changed.
Which is? What's the correct step?
Well, let me ask a question. Okay, so here's my question. What change do you think would be necessary to make the law fair?
I think that what I think needs to be is there needs to be a defined determination. To me, more so, one, I feel this. I think there needs to be a force on force. Meaning, if it's force meets force, I'll put it that way. If he has a weapon and you shoot, I got it. But there is that time, and here's why I don't have a correct answer for this, and this is why I don't. Because who's to say that I have a gun on me, and then you and I get in a tussle? I don't know if you're going to take that gun from me and shoot me with it. So I have to shoot you first. So that's why I don't have a correct answer. But I do know that the way as it stands right now is too vague.
Well, let me say something that's going to be interesting about this whole situation or whatever. And as we said or whatever, this is always the case. And it was even the case with the Trayvon Martin Zimmerman situation.
I would have had to quit Zimmerman. I would have had to quit him.
Well, I wouldn't. But okay, that's a different story. But let me just give you my 2 cents on Zimmerman right quick. Mm-hmm. The reason Zimmerman walked was the prosecutor's fault. Yep. And let me tell you why. The reason that Zimmerman walked was because the prosecutor played his interview with the police, and he got the ability to not have to get up on the stand and be subjected to cross-examination. Mm-hmm. And if I was his attorney, I would have said the same thing. Sit down, your statement has been made. Yeah. If they had said, we're not playing that video unless you get up on the stand or whatever, and let the defense or let us have an opportunity to cross-examine you or whatever, they could have ate all that stuff up or whatever. But he got to get away scot-free, no cross-examination. So that's my Zimmerman thing. But what I was going to say is this. The question is always, where do you start the timeline? Because in the situation we're talking about right now, we've already stated that he's running out of the store trying to defend his family, his children, whatever, and the other. Where they want to start the timeline is not where the whole incident started from point 0. They want to start from where he got shoved and he got shot. So the reason I say that is because one thing about standing your ground or whatever, in all self-defense to a certain extent or whatever, and the use of excessive force or whatever from a private sector is, you cannot be the primary aggressor. Yeah. Period. Point blank. And so, if you went out there and started this incident with his girlfriend or whatever, and the other, you are technically the primary aggressor.
Exactly.
But see, that's why I said they're not starting the timeline there. They're starting a timeline from when he came out of the store and shot.
So say the victim, can their attorney can their attorney start this timeline?
It's gonna be a civil. That's a
Well, it's a civil now.
It's a civil matter now.
Victor has a
Yeah, it's a civil matter.
because right now, okay, so on the criminal side, technically the attorney for the victim is the
against
prosecutor.
I want to say this because this is going to play into what I want to happen. One thing I really want to happen is I want the NFL players. I don't ask them to take fines because that's not my job to ask them to take fines and ask them to sit out and all that. I'm not asking them that. But I do say if y'all can boycott by staying in the locker room, if that's what they're gonna call it, stay in the locker room, stay in the damn locker room. Y'all have 3 teams. Y'all have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Y'all have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Y'all have the Miami Dolphins. And every team that comes to play them, stay in the locker room and boycott. Show boycott. And I asked everyone, boycott the amusement parks in Florida until this law has changed. Because I'm telling you,
But
anybody can use this law to commit murder. And basically, I'm calling it murder because when you walk around with a gun on your hip and you're antagonizing people to confront you so that you can use your weapon, to me, that's premeditated murder. You're walking around.
But okay, you say it changed the law in Florida. But this is a law in what 14
Laws
states?
everywhere.
No,
At least.
No. You stand your ground.
It's at
I think
least
it's in
14.
Yeah,
14
it's
states.
all over the place. But what I
Because
really
it's
in many
14
states.
the way it is in Florida, and then
There are modifications they
there's
have.
about 10 to 15 more that have versions
They
of
limit
it.
where you can use
Yeah.
force.
At least until this guy is arrested, I asked for there needs to be a boycott.
Well, and here's what I'm gonna say. What I'm gonna say is this.
We gotta wrap it up, fellas.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just quickly, what I'm gonna say is this. The modification I think that needs to happen is that all these cases need to run their course. You know, at least get them arrested and, you know, let the judicial system handle it. Now,
I agree.
if somebody sits there and says, okay, this is what happens, but to unilaterally, for the sheriff to say, I can't arrest him or whatever, then fine, the district attorney or whoever's the prosecutor in that area needs to go ahead and say, look, we're gonna arrest him.
As I said, if it was a white woman attacking a black man and that black man shot him, you think that same sheriff would have said, "Oh, I can't arrest him."
Oh, you told him, like, okay, well, that's a jury question, so, you know, into that time, hey, you'll be in my Hilton over here on the side.
And I'm not calling for violence against white women. I'm not calling for any type of violence.
Attorney Todd,
Yes, sir.
thank you, man.
No problem.
Man, I sure appreciate you, especially on the short notice. Thank you,
Appreciate it, man.
because this is so important. Because a lot of us, like I said, it never hit us until the Zimmerman Trayvon Martin case ever came up, and I'm sure a lot of us didn't understand it. I salute you, thank you for once again coming in. It's about that time, man. Any last words from Same?
Man, we just need to come together, people. That's all I can say. Everybody.
Beautiful.
Be safe. Be safe.
Hey, y'all. It's once again time to clean the clippers, sweep the floors. Sometimes you still got the bathrooms. I don't care how many more times you come.
Man, see, I'm gonna stop coming.
No,
Man,
don't do that,
them kids peeing on the floor, man. I'm tired of having pee duty around here, man.
Hey, y'all. The shop is closed.
We out. You know, there is no way that I mean, really, I try to sit there and think about